Hey y'all, and welcome to Monter's Market, and welcome to my high-end rustic farmhouse decor video. Now, I know everybody else is jumping into Christmas, and I will be doing that very, very soon. But for now, I'm just going to stick with my high-end rustic farmhouse decor. Let's get into DIY number one. Look at this adorable sign. I am so in love. This, again, is a piece of scrap wood that I had when my husband started building my new shop. I started collecting all of his leftover pieces, and everything you've seen me do in the past few weeks came from that scrap wood. I just couldn't throw it away. So when I seen that, I knew what I wanted to do, and I took some antique wax and stained the whole entire thing because I could see that beautiful wood grain that was in the wood, and I knew that this antique wax would bring it out perfectly, or any of the stains that I have, but the antique wax was handy, so that's what I grabbed. Look at that stain, y'all. I mean, the wood grain, y'all. That is so beautiful. So anyway, I just did the top, the sides, the bottom, the whole entire piece of wood, and I went and got, I don't know, I'm trying to remember, is it one of our monthly transfers, or was it something that anybody can order? I'll find out, and either way, it'll be linked in my description box below. But wait until you see this cute transfer that I'm going to put on this piece of wood. Look at that. Is that not the sweetest? And it has two little bows that come with it. It's called Highland Cow, and it is so stinking cute. Actually, yes, anybody can order that because it would have said that it was part of our club on the back. So yes, anybody can order this. So I will definitely have it linked in my description box below. And this is so stinking simple. I just took my white paste and I pasted on the little cow. It actually worked beautifully. I'm just going to paste on and then pull off this transfer and watch how stinking easy and cute this turns out. Look at this. OMG, y'all. Is that cow not the sweetest? Now, I left him a hem by not adding either of the bows. And I wanted welcome at the bottom, and I found one of these transfers. I don't even remember where this one came from, but again, it will be linked below. And this says welcome-ish. Depends on who you are and how long you stay. But all I wanted was the welcome part. So that's what I did. I just pasted on the welcome part, which to me, that's hilarious. Welcome-ish, depends on who you are and how long you stay. Like, that's clever. And that would make a cute, sign for somebody's door. So anyway, with that, it was done, and look at how sweet that is. Now, you could do a couple of things. You could add a sawtooth hanger on the back. You could add some twine on the back, or you could just leave it standing. It was a pretty thick piece of wood, and it stood on its own without having any kind of, other pieces of wood added to the back of it. So that's what I did. I just left it as a stand-up sign, but I think it's just adorable. That piece of wood is probably about a 12 by 12 piece of wood, I would think. And I love it. Now let's get into DIY number two. This this tray is so stinking cute. I love it. Look at the wood grain in this piece of wood. Sorry, y'all, that was my house phone ringing. Anyway, look at the wood grain. I love it. Now, this right here is regular $10.99, but I got it for 50% off, and it was $5.50, obviously. And I'm just pointing out that wood grain because I thought it was so beautiful. But these are the legs that I'm going to use. Now, these I actually got from Hobby Lobby, and they look very similar to the ones that you can get from Woodpecker Crafts. However, the ones from Woodpecker Crafts are much cheaper than the ones at Hobby Lobby. Now, the difference is Hobby Lobby is an instant fix. You can go pick it up that day. And with the ones from Woodpecker Crafts, you'd have to order it, but their shipping is very fast. Now, I'm going to use my Weather Wash Walnut Stain. And no, this is the Barnwood Stain. And I love Weather Wash. You guys know that they are not sponsoring today's video, but I'm just obsessed with their different stains. I want you to look at how beautiful this shelf is. Look at that stain. Oh my goodness. It just pops. And I love, love, love that. Now that's me showing you up in the top left how pretty that stain looks, because guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to cover it up. My thought was to paint the legs with this antique wax and then distress over it with white. Well, in the meantime, my phone rang and I got sidetracked, and I came back, and doggone if I didn't distress the shelf itself. I did it just the opposite of what I had in my mind, and it wasn't until I got the whole top done and went to flip it over to the bottom that it dawned on me, oh my word, you painted the wrong piece. But anyway, it still turns out, excuse me, it is super cold here, and my allergies are not liking this new weather. I say super cold, it's 48 degrees, and we're in Florida, and it never, ever, ever gets 48 degrees hardly, so I'm freezing today. Anyway, I'm going to use my polyurethane that they were so sweet to send me, and this stuff is so smooth and so creamy, and it goes on super duper clear, and it dries crystal clear. I know I've said in the past, some polyurethanes, when you put it on, if you get it too thick and it dries, it has like a white haze to it. Not this. Weather Wash polyurethane dries crystal clear, and it is just gorgeous. Now this is me going over the legs with the polyurethane to seal all of that in. A lot of times, especially with the first DIY, you don't see me polyurethane over it, but anytime I use stain, and especially with the transfers from Chalk Couture, I always polyurethane or Mod Podge or seal it in some kind of way. Now, I was showing you the cute little handles that I'm going to put on it while I was running my mouth about the polyurethane, but I'm simply taking my wood hot glue and putting my little legs on, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to glue the handles on. And why I do that is to keep it in place, where when I go to screw it in, I'm not fighting with it moving all over the place on me. So you'll see me just grab the wood glue and put right there on the tip ends where the screws go in. And instead of showing you, I don't usually show you when I'm screwing something in, because that's so boring. Like, why do you need to watch me screw something in? You know what I mean? So I just put a little wood glue right there where the screws go. I flipped it over and added my screws, which I ended up having to take the daggum legs back off because I didn't think about that before I put the handles on. But anyway, look at how cute this little riser turned out. I love it. It's so rustic, so farmhouse, so gorgeous, and it's literally like perfect for my decor. And it was $5.50, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. It got about $11 in this little shelf. But it's 18 inches long, y'all. It's long. So it's a pretty significant piece. And I love it. Now let's jump into DIY number 3. These leftover wood. Yep, again, I'm using some scrap wood. Now these had sat out in the wood. Sat out in the sun with some things laying on top of it. And it bleached out that wood right there. So it's not easy to stain when it gets like that. So you do have to cover it with something that's going to cover up all of those blemishes that are on the wood now. So what I did is I just cleaned it up from where it had been rough cut and used, like I said, outside in my new shed. I cleaned it up, and believe it or not, these pieces did not come from the same board. It looks like they were cut in these sizes on purpose, but it wasn't. It just happened to be that when I went out there scrummaging through all the wood pieces, I thought these would make the perfect little set for some little stand-up signs. And I just love the way they turned out. Now see where I'm staining it right there, how I can't cover up all those bleached out blemishes on the wood. that's just unfortunately natural. Now, if you have a good sander, you could probably sand it down to where it's pretty even again. But that really messes up your wood grain, and then you'll have a bunch of scratches on your wood. So anyway, I'm going to take my white Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to heavily distress, but not completely cover the wood, because again, I want it super rustic, super farmhouse, and if you completely paint it, then you're going to make it look too fresh and clean, and that's not what Rustic Farmhouse is all about. Rustic Farmhouse is about something that looks really old and worn and sentimental. Like when I think of Rustic Farmhouse, I truly think of sentimental, because it takes me back to when my grandparents were still alive, and we would go out to their farm and they would have all these pieces that just look so old and so worn, and I loved it back then before I ever dreamt of doing any kind of YouTube channel. So it's definitely something that I've always been, had an appeal for. So after I gave these little pieces of wood their distress coat of white Waverly chalk paint, I had a couple of different transfers that I'm going to use to decorate these with. And I'm giving it sort of a fallish vibe, I guess, because I haven't quite got into Christmas yet, but I will be within the next couple of weeks. And I'm excited about Christmas. I'm very excited about it. I've got a lot of things that I'm going to be doing, and I can't wait to bring it all to you. So this week and next week will be sort of this farmhouse-ish stuff. And then after that, I will get into Christmas stuff. But anyway, I'm just drying my boards up and getting them ready for my transfers. And actually, I ended up setting them aside and went to bed that night and got up the next day, and they were all dry and ready to go. So now I'm going to show you the cute little transfers that I ended up going with whenever I went through and picked out some to make this little set right here. Well, that is as soon as I get through showing you that I blow dried everything, or dried it with my heat gun. Now, look at this. This is so stinking cute. These are different leaves. A couple of them have writing. Some of them have like a checkered pattern. And you see the whole thing. Some have gorgeous lines. But I'm going to go with the one that has the writing. It just says a lot of different words that are related to fall. And I thought it would be cute to put on the top of the smallest one. Now, I'm going to use my camel chalk paste. And it's sort of a brownish color. Isn't that cute? I love that color. And I'm going to just paste. It's not quite big enough for the whole leaf to be put on there, but it doesn't have to be, because we're doing rustic farmhouse theme, and the more imperfect it is, the more perfect it is for sort of a rustic farmhouse feel. But look how easy this is, y'all. Isn't that beautiful? I love me some chalk couture. It makes things so much easier. Now, this one has several different pieces on it, but all I want is the blessed off of this one. I'm not going to use the little embellishments that are around the word blessed. I'm simply going to use just the word blessed. And I'm going to do that one in my pesto. You guys know that's my favorite green, because it is so very rustic and so very farmhouse. And it is my, what do you call it? My accent color in my home is this sort of mossy kind of, well, it's called pisto. I'm sorry. Pesto, which is sort of a darker moss green. And now I'm going to use the word grateful off of this. I'm sorry, I tickled myself. Anyway, I am going to use my eucalyptus chalk paste. That's the name of this, is eucalyptus. Oh my, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked giggling at myself. Anyway, I'm just simply going to use the word grateful. But look at that pesto. I'm not pesto. Lord have mercy. Maybe I should stop and redo this voiceover. but I am not going to. I just don't have time. But these are the three colors that I'm using together, and I like them. I mean, they kind of don't look they would go together, but once I get it all put together, I think it looks kind of cute. Anyway, I'm just going to simply chalk on the word grateful, and I'm grateful that I didn't mess up that word. Anyway, I am going to peel it off and let you see how gorgeous and easy these things are. Watch. Voila. Look at that. Now, I did get a little bit extra on the side, but I want you to look at how easy it is to clean up. That is simply a baby wipe. I'm going to wipe it, flip it over to the clean side, and that's it. It is gone. It's finished, and super easy to clean up. Another thing, too, about Chalk Couture is you can have a sign for 2 years, and then you just take some, if you haven't sealed it now, you can take something wet and wipe it off, and now you've got your surface clean again for a new picture. Anyway, now I'm going to color 3 different beads in each of these colors that I used on my boards. And what I'm going to do is just make a little hanger, like a little tassel to hang from each of my pictures with those 3 colors in it, because what that does is now it brings all those colors together in each of the 3 pictures and makes it all cohesive. So this was me trying to thread my beads without any tape on the end of it. And I got aggravated and gave up and had to go get me some tape. And then that's when I went ahead and got my beads all beaded on. It goes on so much easier if you just simply put a little piece of Scotch tape at the end of it. So now I am building my little tassels with my beads. And what I will do is wrap some twine, I think it was 3 times, around the top of each board, glue it down, glue my little tassel down, and then make a little finger bow to finish it off. But look at those 3 colors together. Aren't they cute? And I can't wait till you see the finished project in just a minute. Now here I am. What I decided to do is glue it on the front, because what that does is, instead of you being able to turn it over and see all that glue on the back, I'm going to hide it with the bow and the tassel that I'm putting on there. That way when you turn it over to see the other side, it's beautiful, clean, there's no glue there, there's nothing. It's just perfectly done. And the front is finished, the back is finished, and you've got everything else covered up. So I did that to all 3 of my boards, and then I was done. And I love, love, love the way these turned out. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this little set of pictures. I love them. I think they're just as cute as they can be. Look at that. Now look at the colors together. Isn't that cute? And those little beads, like I said, just brought it all together. How adorable is that? And you see those words on there? I didn't have to print anything. I didn't have to cut anything. I didn't have to weed anything. And like I said before, I don't mind doing all of that. I have several Cricuts and I love them. But Chalk Couture makes it so much easier, and it takes away all of that cutting and weeding and everything, and just makes my life so much simpler. So now we're going to get into my final reveal and look at everything together. Look at my sign. I love that little cow. It's so stinking cute. And then I'm going to just show you kind of everything that I did again. Which one do you think is your favorite today? Is it the cow? The little Highland cow, as they call it. My little welcome sign. Isn't he cute? I don't know what it is about them Highland cows, but I love it. And like I said, you can add a little bow to the top and turn it into a girl and make it just as cute as it can be. Now see my little signs? I love them. I did get a little bit of glue at the top of that one. I just noticed that. I'll tell you how you get rid of that. You take your heat gun and you run it on there just a little bit, and it'll just melt right down under all of that twine, and you won't even be able to see that anymore. And had I seen it beforehand, I would have definitely done that. Now my tray, I love this tray, y'all. It is so beautiful in my opinion. Even though I painted it opposite way that I wanted to paint it. I love the way it turned out. Love the legs, love the handles, love the whole thing. And like I said, it's very long. It's 18 inches long, which is a pretty big piece. That little box is just something I use to set that flower on top of. That's nothing really. But I love this video. I love my little rustic farmhouse pieces. So let me know which one of these was your favorite. I really would have to probably, it's between the shelf and the cow sign. I mean, not shelf. I keep calling it a shelf, the daggum riser. I would probably think the riser is my favorite. So I can't wait to hear which one is your favorite. If for some reason you've never been to my channel before, welcome to Monter's